off all-you-can-eat pancakes are back.
Applebee's all-you-can-eat boneless wings, just $12.99.
At Olive Garden, when we say never-ending first course, we mean never-ending.
Because Red Lobster's one and only endless shrimp is now.
We love food in America, and from our all-you-can-eat pancakes and chicken wings to our endless salad and breadsticks, we like our food with infinite abundance. And I think there's probably nothing more American about the way we eat than this commercial from Carl's Jr.
What's more American than a cheeseburger? This cheeseburger, loaded with a hot dog and potato chips. In the hands of all-American model Samantha Hoops. In a hot tub. In a pickup truck, driven by an American bull rider. On an aircraft carrier, under the gaze of Lady Liberty, as she admires the most American thick burger with a split hot dog and kettle-cooked potato chips on a fresh-baked bun.
You know, even our presidents get in on this. In 2019, President Donald Trump treated the national championship Clemson Tigers football team to an all-American feast at the White House that included mountains of his classic favorites.
We have pizzas, we have 300 hamburgers, many French fries.
But you know what? This is not a lesson about the food that we eat. This is a lesson about the food that we don't eat. Because this week, we're talking about food waste.
I don't wanna let a good meal go to waste. You should open up and let me get a taste. Why would you let a real good meal go to waste? You should let me get a taste, let me get a taste.
New research finds that Americans waste nearly a pound of food per person each day.
Canadians trash $31 billion worth of food a year.
In our households, we're wasting somewhere between 15 and 25% of the food that we're buying.
A massive amount of the food that we produce in this country never gets consumed. This is obviously a huge problem, but it wasn't always this way. During World War II, we were aggressively campaigning everyone not to waste food. Food is a weapon, don't waste it. Fight food waste at home, join the Clean Plate Club, and all sorts of other propaganda was spread imploring people not to waste food, because we needed to save every scrap for the war effort.
Watch this. There, madam, is the amount of bread that you cause to disappear every week.
You must be crazy. There isn't that much bread in the world.
There's that much less bread in the world every week through household waste.
But since that time, it's become the opposite. Food became more plentiful, and suddenly we started to see much more abundant and, more importantly, cheaper food. Our notion of what's a reasonable amount of food to eat even changed. The idea of larger portions seeped into our households, and we created this culture of serving our friends and our families too much food. The idea of hosting an event and running out of food was not just unthinkable, it was unallowable. According to the Food Network, since 1990, the average size of a bagel has grown 2.5 times, from 140 calories to 350 calories. A small-sized theater popcorn has more than doubled, from 270 calories to 630 calories, and a regular bottle of soda has tripled in size from 6 ounces to 20 ounces. This has put us into an interesting predicament when we go out. We can either overeat or waste food. Today, Californians throw out nearly 6 million tons of food every single year. It makes up 18% of all the materials that go to landfills. In 2010, the United States Department of Agriculture estimated that in the U.S. we waste over $161 billion worth of food. If that sounds bad, you should see how it looks.
We got a whole load pretty much of loose organic lettuce. You know, we've got spinach towards the back. Looks like it's perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it. We got some kale here. We got broccoli in the back as well. We have plenty of produce to make a salad here.
This is bad for a lot of reasons, including how we're squandering all the land, water, labor, energy, and other inputs that were used in producing, processing, transporting, storing, and disposing of all that food. And more importantly, all that wholesome food could have helped families in need. According to a University of Southern California study, food insecurity in LA County has been on the rise. As of July 2022, 24% of LA County households were food insecure, an increase of almost 8 percentage points from the previous year. The majority of residents who experience food insecurity are low-income female, and about 4 in 10 of them have children. This is all a massive cause for alarm.
It's hard. I'll go without food before my kids will. Budget is down to the penny, and it's just not enough still.
It brings you to tears.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just hard. They're so young, and it's hard.
So this all sounds terrible, but why is it happening? There are 4 major reasons. First, we use inefficient agricultural techniques. Studies have estimated that 44% of crop dry matter is lost prior to human consumption. Look at what's happening during the harvesting of just celery.
So here's a whole celery plant. So on the heart machine will cut the heart to length, more or less like that. And then the crews will drop that. And there's your heart. Look at all this. We have to peel a certain amount of stalks off so they can fit in the bag. You know, you saw me, that's 1 square foot. And I got probably 2 pounds of product right there.
That's insane. We're peeling off stalks of celery and tossing them back in the field because they don't fit in the fucking bag. Because, you know, we couldn't just not bag it. The second reason, our pursuit of the perfect food is killing us. For one, when we're spending our own hard-earned money on food, we want the perfect specimens, the perfect apple, the perfect peach, the perfect banana. And grocery stores have set up standards to ensure that the food that doesn't meet our impossibly high standards for perfection never even reaches the shelves.
We have ladies grading the fruit. They're graders, but they sort out the fruit that is not going to go into a box. You know, they're looking for scars like this, that you and I could cut that off right there and eat it. But unfortunately, they don't want it in the box. A lot of it's about appearance.
The third reason food waste has become so prevalent is that we've taken a major departure from our cultural food values. Chefs used to be brought up in a culture of not wasting anything.
As a culinary student, as a young cook, I came up in an old school system that abhorred waste as a fundamental principle, meaning the whole enterprise was based on the idea of use everything. That principle was pounded deep into my tissue. Use everything, waste nothing.
And the foods that we got from that culture were delicious.
Every cuisine that has lasted generations, they all have dishes that would be called wasted, but in fact are iconic cultural dishes, like bouillabaisse. Fishermen's wives took the damaged and unsellable fish and they created a big stew of all this reject fish and called it a bouillabaisse. Prosciutto di Parma, that pig is a waste-fed pig, but you don't call it waste pork. That's why these dishes become so important, because they're not sold as waste, they're sold as what they are, which is delicious dishes.
We've fallen out of touch with so many traditional foods that chefs will tell you are tender and delicious. The plants and animals we've decided are delicious and worth eating today has evolved substantially from where we came from. And so those things we used to eat, they're all going to waste.
When he first visited me in San Francisco, I said, "Dad, let's go eat tacos." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "Just order me what you want, whatever. Just make sure you get me beef. Don't get me anything weird." I was like, "Okay." So I got him beef, tongue. I got him beef tongue. And he was eating it, and I was like, "This is amazing." And he's like, "Yeah, this is like the best thing I've ever had." I said, "Oh, it's beef tongue." And he got so angry at me. He's like, "Why would you do that to me?" And I said, "Well, Dad, is it delicious?" And he's like, "Well, no, it was delicious before I knew what it was." I think that's all it really distills down to, is what's delicious.
We'd waste so much less food if we could get back in touch with the cultural foods that made us who we are. When we decide to eat meat, but only demand the breast of the chicken, the rest of it has to go somewhere. Today, very often that place is the trash. The fourth reason we waste so much food is that we have an imperfect understanding of food safety in the U.S. Sometimes we're just wasting food out of pure fear. According to the National Resource Defense Council, 91% of consumers report that they at least occasionally have discarded food past its sell-by date out of concern for product safety. We live and die by the sell-by dates, even when we don't even know what they mean.
Use by, sell by, and nothing but just a date.
And this is all the same brand.
This is all the same brand. This is not only the same brand, but also the same 2%.
So what does this show us?
This shows there's complete confusion out there.
So these dates are on almost all of our packaged foods, and I bet you're throwing them out every time they're past date. But actually, those dates are decided on by the manufacturers, and it's not surprising that it would be in their best interest to make those dates as tight as possible to convince you to buy more. And the truth is, with the exception of baby formula, the federal government does not require any food to carry an expiration date at all. That's right, none of them. And while some foods can certainly become unsafe if you hang on to them for too long, the reality is that most food with a best by date will just end up somewhere between stale and boring, but not harmful, and rarely will they happen as fast as the date suggests. And because we think these dates are real, many supermarkets throw food out even before its sell-by date. This practice has led to an entire subgenre of YouTube videos where people go diving for edible food in grocery store dumpsters.
What are these? Blueberry muffins. Okay, this is the best.
You are not going to believe this. All this is still frozen. Apparently they had a cooler go down.
Look at this. A whole box of ribs.
All sorts of bread, melons. This milk expired yesterday. Bottled water, straight out of the trash too.
And they had brought in a special dumpster, and it was the size of a small swimming pool, and it was completely filled with hummus.
Stores aren't donating all this food for what they think is a really good reason. Everyone thinks that if you donate food and someone gets sick, that you could get sued.
Everything that's close dated or any calls?
No, we can't do that.
You can't?
No, it's a food, health, and safety issue.
It's a safety, you can't. Do you guys donate it then, or you don't donate?
No.
So if
it goes straight in the garbage can.
It goes straight in the garbage?
Yeah.
So
can't do it because it gets too many lawsuits.
There's too many lawsuits? Have you guys been sued before?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. It's
not
my thing, but it's a health and safety issue. If it's close dated, if it's like within 2 days, out the door goes.
This is not true. There has never been a single case in the US where a food donor has been sued. It doesn't happen. It's a false fear. In the US, there are Good Samaritan laws that say you cannot be sued if you donate food in good faith. Okay, so what can you do about this? I think it boils down to one really important thing that you can actually control. Care about food.
The club isn't the best place to save the planet, so the restaurant's where I go. Me and my friends at the table talking stats about food waste in the world. I saw a dream woman at the bar throw half a meal out and my jaw hit the floor. She's perfect in every way, but if she wastes, it's a deal breaker for sure. Now I'm singing like, girl, did you know how much food in the world gets wasted? 1.3 billion tons of food from stores, restaurants, homes, and companies. Boy, you talk too much. 1 in 9 people on earth go hungry. You should take a doggy bag, please. You should take a doggy bag, please.